Hey, good morning to another Telling It Like It Is, and happy Canada Day to everybody. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. We listen, guide, and connect small businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs. Sharing knowledge and stories is why I started Telling It Like It Is. It is live. You have any questions, please ask. If you're watching this on a social media platform after the fact, put your question in there. It will get answered. A special thank you to Community Now magazine for their support. Community Now engages, educates, and inspires us to be stronger together. I'm pumped about today's Telling It Like It Is guest, Eric Yeung, founder of Tykera. Eric, thank you for joining me, and how are you today?
Good, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you on. I know we've met quite a few years ago. Kevin Dahl introduced us, and we've had some coffees, and we've crossed paths a lot. And I know you're doing a little bit work with Mo. So I've been excited to have you on for many years now. So it's finally here.
Yeah, thank you.
So what I'll do is I'll get into a little introduction here about Eric, and we will start our questions. So Eric began his entrepreneurial journey in 2010 when he opened Paws Dog Daycare. As the dog daycare developed into a stable and successful business, Eric started looking for more challenging ventures. His passion for sports and food led him to co-found Postgame, which connected adult rec sports teams through the use of a team messaging and scheduling app to a restaurant, bar, or pub after a game. However, this project has been suspended due to the pandemic. So this is my favorite part about Eric, and we'll talk about it. Using his experience in working with the restaurant industry, he launched a charitable initiative called Feeding YYC. Along with an amazing group of tireless volunteers, Feeding YYC has been able to feed over 600 people in a few short weeks. That being said, Eric turned his attention to a new fintech venture called Tykera. Its mission is to make sports more accessible and affordable by providing fair, transparent financing options for registration fees. Tykera protects sports leagues and clubs by offering upfront cash flow and taking on the risk and fraud of the non-payment. So, that's a great introduction. I love it. We'll talk about a little bit of everything. And obviously, you're a serial entrepreneur. You own Dogs Daycare, started Postgame, COVID made you pivot, and now founded Tykera. But before we get to that, I want to talk about what you did during COVID, because I just, spreading the love, being stronger together, helping people out was all the talk about that. So please tell us your story, how that kind of started when you started feeding Support YYC.
Well, when the pandemic started, things were kind of dire. I had to shut the doggy daycare down for a few weeks, not knowing, because at the beginning of the pandemic, you probably remember, Jay, like there was a lot of unknowns, right? Like nobody
Absolutely.
knew how bad this was. Nobody knew how bad this was going to be, or how severe, the symptoms or the effects of the virus was still new. So
Yeah.
that was a big scary thing. So, nobody really wanted to be out there and put ourselves at risk. The dog daycare was deemed an essential service, but for the staff and for myself as well, we thought it was better to just shut down for a few weeks and see where and kind of ride it out and see what comes out on the other end. So that was a little bit tough, having to close the doors for a few weeks, just because we've been in business for almost 10 years now, and we've never experienced something like this.
Yeah.
And then with Postgame, we dealt specifically with sports and restaurants, right? So you can't really have a Postgame without even a game. Sports stopped, traffic stopped. We couldn't sell to restaurants anymore. With this virus, we really don't know what was going to happen, even more so than the dog daycare. So we kind of had to put that on pause. And to be quite honest, I was pretty down for a few days. I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on. All this stuff that I've worked for and over the last, multiple years, could be all for nothing, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of just, took a few days to kind of regroup and kind of decided to pick myself up. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna feed a few families myself. So I contacted the Children's Hospital, the Ronald McDonald House, and we had a communication back and forth, and was like, hey, can I just feed a couple of families for over the Easter weekend? And they were like, yeah, sure. So, and then I started an Instagram account because called YYC Takeout Specials, just to promote some of the restaurants that I had been working with through the relationship through Postgame. Just to keep promoting them, but more so to just keep my ear to the ground. Stay connected within the restaurant community. So Market on 17th heard about the initiative that I wanted to do, and Vanessa at Market, the owner there, she was so amazing that she offered to feed all the families at Ronald McDonald House, right? And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh well, I'm already done. I'm already feeding 13 families for Easter, but I'm like, well, can I feed some more? So I just kind of asked myself that question. And the Monday before Easter in April, I put a call for help out to my network, and I was like, hey, this is what happened. I wanted to feed some families on my own, but Marcus stepped in and helped feed 13 families. But I'm already done. I feel like I can do more. I want to feed 50 this weekend. Can anybody help? So I put that out there in my network, and then I had like 10 people just message me. It's like, oh, I'd love to help, right? And we scrambled that week to get donations and talk to restaurants, and over the Easter weekend we end up feeding 65 families altogether, and 266 people, and it came together in a span of like 4.5 days.
Wow.
So and it would not have been possible without the volunteers kind of jumping on and helping. And what amazed me was people were just so eager to help.
Yeah, and I keep preaching that and talking about it here on the on Tell Them Like It Is, and even in real life when I'm meeting with people, the entrepreneurial spirit in Calgary and the ability and the willingness to help each other, it's off the charts. And I think this is another prime example. I mean, you're sending out to your network, and then all of a sudden, boom, 10 people right away are in, and you're able to turn something into such a feel good story that helps so many people. And as you said yourself, you were down, you didn't know what to do, and there was people in way worse situations that needed actually just to eat. So I mean, the kudos to you. That is just, I know, I was just awesome. I can't say enough how impressed I was, and happy that you did that.
Yeah, thank you. And, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, and we had another campaign for over the Mother's Day week, and we ended up partnering with a bunch more restaurants and ended up feeding 400 more people. So in just a few short weeks, we fed over 600 people. So yeah. I'm super, super proud. I mean, of the effort that we were able to put in, and super, super grateful for everybody that stepped in to help.
No, that's awesome, and again, thank you for doing that and giving back in a time of need. That shows what kind of a kind person you are, Eric. Thank you. So I mean, let's talk a little bit about yourself. Obviously, coronavirus hit. You have to shut down the doggy daycare. It obviously crumbles post game, which you're like, oh my goodness, I've got two businesses here now, kind of in a downwards. Doggy daycare will come back, but who knows about post game? And then all of a sudden, boom, you have a new idea. Tykera comes up. So how did you come up with that idea?
Well, we've been working in that space for a long time. So it was just a matter of like going back to the sports leagues and our connection within that world, And
Yeah.
basically it was just like start asking questions. What are you guys doing? What is your plan? What are some of the challenges that you kind of foresee going forward? And kind of took some of our findings before, and kind of looking at the marketplace. Like fintech is hot right now, especially in Calgary. I forget the stat, but like I think we were one of the, we're in the top 100 cities in the world doing fintech, right? So, like the guys from Skip the Dishes that started Harvest Ventures and Neo Financial, I mean, they're making a lot of noise in the industry. I mean, solely I'm getting acquired for like a gajillion dollars. Certainly makes a lot of noise for our community. Like Darcy and Tate over at Zayzoon, and Jamie over at Zayzoon. They've got big, huge partners like Visa, right? So the community here has experience in that space. I mean, I think it sort of made sense in our brain to be like, there might be something here. So that's kind of how we started down this path.
Interesting. I mean, it is. When I talked to you about it, I was like, wow, that is great. I mean, I've run sports teams in the past. Rec teams still do. Collecting money has been bad. I know our daughters have been in, and a lot of times it's like hockey. Boom, here's $1,200 up front. Away you go. I mean, I think that would be such a great thing for a parent being able to go, oh, can I pay $300, or if it's a 6 month, can I pay $200 a month? I think that's a great idea. And
Yeah,
do you see them, the ones that are doing it internally? Are be able to kind of switch them over, or you kind of have to go out there and talk to each organization individually?
I think it would be like a direct sale, like B2B direct sale to start, really. I mean, we're hoping to alleviate some pain on both sides, right? Like you said, like collecting money from your teammates or other parents if you're the team manager. That's a huge pain in the ass, right? Like I played ball before, and there's been situations where our team captain is still collecting money from guys, with a few weeks left in the season, right? And
Yeah.
and team fees, they're expensive, like to register a team is like $1,500, $2,000 for like even just basketball, right? And I mean, think of the example, like, if I registered a team and it's $2,000 and I didn't have the cash to pay for that, and I put it on my credit card, right? And I'm just waiting for my teammates to pay me back, right? But in the case of like, let's say like there's 2 more weeks left in the season, and Jade, you still haven't paid me. It's not like I can come to you and say, hey Jade, you owe me fee plus interest because I've been carrying that on my credit card.
Yeah.
Right. Because we didn't have that understanding to begin with. So a lot of the times the captain will lose even more money because they're paying interest on their credit card, right? So we're looking at building something, building a platform just to collect all the payment and have it go straight to the league and just help alleviate, the headache of having to like chase people to collect money, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, nothing. As I do it right now for our ball team. I mean, I carry it, for whatever it is. I got to buy my gear. I got to buy this. I got $3,000 or $4,000, and it comes in February, and guys don't start paying me till July, August, whatever it may be, right? Or I spread it out because you just say, hey, if you can't afford it, just get me money when you can, whatever it may be. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that do that, and that's just kind of the way it's always been. So I love to see some disruption in this space. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, I think the goal for Tykera is to be that financing option for anything and everything sports, right? So we want to start with helping with financing enrollment fees, and then move into like sporting goods and equipment and apparel, right? So if you got kids playing sports, you pay for your registration fee through Tykera, and then also you buy um, all your gear through Tykera, and then you can pay it, you know, over the course of the months instead of like one big lump sum at the beginning of the season, right? Because that's having to pay that much money, that's the thing that hurts families the most, right?
Yeah.
And we feel that if we can reduce the friction there, we can get more families into sports. And growing up playing sports myself, I know that there's a huge benefit, for kids to play sports, right? And the life lessons that you learn that you carry through all your adult life, through playing sports, and the teamwork, and the discipline and the hard work, and all that. Those are really good things, that you can transfer and take into your adult life, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, not only is it good for yourself, your connections. I mean, these life sports. I'm 48 and I'm still playing senior baseball. I'm playing squash. The people that I'm meeting on a weekly basis, just that have helped me in business since I've moved to Calgary in the last 20 years, have been priceless. I mean, you never know who you're going to meet on a squash court, and all of a sudden you're having a beer or having a lunch with them, whatever it may be. So it's so important for us to stay connected. It's a little bit more difficult right now, but as we move forward, to get back in there and become connected and do the face to face, because that's we need that interaction, and
Mm-hmm.
that is never going to change.
No, and that was one of the huge motivations for doing post game, right? It's not.
Yeah,
We always joked, you know, we would play a little ball on the way to the bar, right? So a lot of times we play, playing ball is an excuse to go hang out with the boys at the pub afterwards, right? So that was
yeah.
one of the motivations for doing post game. So there's huge like social and psychological value for, to not even like the physical aspect, to participate in sports. So the internal motivation is like, what can I do to help people get back into sports?
No, I can't agree more. It's a great statement. Again, I'm talking to Eric Yeung, founder of Tykera. The website is on the comment section. All you have to do is click on it. It will take you directly to the website. So this is a big jump, and obviously to get. I mean, there's thousands of sports leagues. Just think, even in probably Calgary, and then move across Canada, across North America. How are you going to move forward, Eric?
One league at a time. Um, I think. I mean, selling into restaurants is super hard. Um, so I don't really know yet what the challenges are going to be like. Selling to different sports leagues and associations. Um, but I feel like if we can provide um, enough value and make enough impact for them to get people back into playing sports, I think there might be something there. I mean, obviously, this is a new venture. We really don't know um, a lot, but I feel like it's something that we should definitely, keep kind of putting our head down and keep exploring.
No, I agree, and even for the reason that you stated earlier on, right? The benefits for kids playing sports when they're younger. No kid can be excluded, and I mean, you got great organizations out there that like Kidsport that do help and fund some of the kids out there that are able to do it, but some of them might be on that borderline that they don't qualify for that, but they might not be able to afford to put their kids into something. So having a payment, whether it be for hockey or basketball or softball or slow pitch or whatever it is, to have them staying active, which is an important part of life growing up, is making sure these kids are outside, hanging out, connecting with other people.
Yeah, I think our goal is to really fill that gap between the customers that Kidsport and like Jumpstart serve,
Yeah.
and the families that have like really no financial concerns. So there's a lot of families out there that don't meet the Kidsport criteria, because they make, I think the annual household income is like $30,000 or $40,000, right? I mean, if both parents are working, and there's a lot of families that are over that threshold and still cannot afford sports, right?
Yeah.
So, we wanna explore that market and see how we can help and get more people, whether they're young or old, to be active and play team sports and benefit from that social interaction.
No, absolutely. I was at Senior Nationals a few years ago, and this year's canceled, and it's got like plus 35, and then I think it goes to plus 43, and then plus 50, and 55, and guys are still playing baseball. And one of the older teams on the back of their shirt said, "I didn't get old because I quit. I got old, or no, I didn't. I didn't quit because I got old. I got old because I quit." And
Yeah.
I was just like, isn't that just a perfect statement when it comes to people moving forward? And as I get up there and I'm still trying to play, and I mean, I'm not as good as I once was, but you know what? It's not all about that. It's about the camaraderie. And as you said, I'm playing a sport on the way to the bar. I love that.
Play some ball on the way to the bar. That's my motto.
I like that. I am going to steal that. I'm going to tell you that. That might be my favorite quote out of all the interviews I've done. So I guess kind of moving forward, Eric, what's your next steps with Tykera?
We're still doing more research. I mean, fintech is a very not necessarily like a complicated space, but it's there's a lot of things that we don't know. And some of the stuff that we've come across is already like way outside my circle of competency. So we're one thing that I've learned through doing this startup journey is like talking to as many people as I can. And hopefully going forward, we can build a team to execute this. We're going to need people with smart financial people. We're going to need smart technical people. We're going to need people who knows how to sell and market themselves. So it's I'm excited for the project. That we've gotten a lot of interest already. So yeah, only the future will tell what's going to happen.
No, I mean, I think it's a good service that you're going to be providing, and anything that I can do to help or introduce anybody to you, just let me know. I think it's great. I mean, it's a needed service, and to be quite honest, I mean, I can't believe that something's not out there that's really working with some of these organizations rather than having them float it themselves internally, which is already puts a stress on them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I was surprised to see that there wasn't something like equivalent or similar, and we're trying to find out why. It seems like it's a little bit of a red flag, maybe, but we're working to de-risk the project.
There's always red flags on every journey, isn't there?
It's very true.
So I guess my last question for you, Eric, is the same as every week. If you had one piece of advice for a startup, small business, or entrepreneur, what would that be?
This one's easy for me because I volunteer with Startup Calgary, and you've interviewed Danielle, and back in the day we had when we were able to do startup drinks. One of the advice that I would always give to aspiring entrepreneurs is talk to everybody. Talk to everybody you meet. One reason is, as a founder, you're going to have to be able to articulate and sell your vision, right? So if you don't start going out there and talking to people, you're not going to be able to practice pitching yourself and pitching your idea. But I think the even more important piece of advice is, especially for starting entrepreneurs, is if you don't talk about your idea, we can't help you, right? Because everybody thinks Everybody thinks like, oh, I have $1 billion idea. I have $1 billion idea. Ideas are a dime a dozen, right? It's a matter of, can you execute? And you're not going to be able to build $1 billion company yourself either, right? So there's a lot of hesitancy on new entrepreneurs to keep their idea close to the heart and be like, oh, I'm not ready to tell people yet. I'm not ready to tell. But the more you talk to people, the more they're going to be able to help you talk it through, whether it's a good idea or actually a bad idea. There's really, I think the markets quite prove that there's no such thing as a bad idea. Like, look at Airbnb, think 10 years ago, sleeping in a stranger's house,
Yep.
like frowned upon, like getting in a stranger's car. Like, these are the things that we were told not to ever do while we were growing up, right? But there are like $1 tech companies that facilitates this now, right? So there's no such thing as a bad idea. You just have to find out where the market is and who will actually pay for it. And you're not gonna know until you talk about it and you hear from other people, other than yourself or your friends and family, right? Talk to people that you don't know, talk to people in the space. Just talk to as many people as you can, because you don't know everything, you can't know everything, and you're going to have to rely on other people and count on other people to make whatever dreams you have come true.
No, that's great advice. Networking is a key to success, and a lot of time, as you said, ideas a dime a dozen, but ideas usually just a starting point. And by the time you start talking to somebody adds in something over here, someone adds in here, and that idea now can actually maybe become a business. So you don't know everything, and as we said earlier on, in Alberta here, the entrepreneurial community is there to help, and they're there to support. And this is one of the reasons why I started telling it like it is, for you to share some of your stories, your successes, your failures. Someone might see that and say, hey, God, I want to talk to Eric. He's just unfortunately had to shut down his business, but he already pivoted. And it's like, man, that's what I have to do. And and there'd be no doubt in my mind that you would sit down and have a coffee or a beer with that person and say, hey, here we go. Here's what I learned.
Yeah.
And our community's awesome.
I'm putting out there, like, anybody, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn if anybody wants to have a chat. I'm very happy to sit down and impart whatever wisdom that I may have, that I've learned, over these last few years. The startup game is hard. There's still a lot of things that I don't know that I'm learning every day. So I'm happy to help.
Well, and you do, and feeding all those families is evidence of that. And again, that is just you're a special person, Eric. And I really I want to thank you for coming on, taking time out of your Canada day. And I hear it's raining in Calgary. I'm in Kelowna, and it's kind of cloudy here, but I'm hoping it clears up so we can get on the lake again.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. And again, happy Canada Day to everybody, and have a great day. Again, thank you, Eric, and we will see everybody next week. Have a great day.
Bye.